Good morning, everybody. We are back. The show is called TBR SSF Show. It is myself, the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe. I'm all by myself today. No Tabiki, no Saddam. Today is Tuesday, the 17th of June. Yesterday it was the 16th of June. And then, we are spoiled with football. There's a lot to watch. The Club World Cup is happening. So we'll see who's gonna take this one. You know my 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 wish. Two things: either Sundowns wins this one, or Inter Miami wins this one. Either one of the two. And then but I want us to discuss something very very important, which we once discussed on our show here. And then I saw Peter Du Toit carrying it yesterday, talking about it, and then which I think he's making his own observations of what is happening in the world football. That world football is changing rapidly, and then because it's changing rapidly, we know that Mamelodi Sundowns, if they win, if they win to the next round, they'll get 180 million. And then for qualifying for this cup, they've already received 175. So all in all, it's more than 300 million that Sundowns is going to get. And now guess what? Dr. Patrice Motsepe has said all that money will go to the transfers. All right. In other words, he's going to beef up the team. He's going to ensure that he buys quality players. So now this sends a very worrying signal to all the teams in the PSL. Remember, they've taken the league for the 8th time, and now they'll be gunning for the 9th and 10th. So if they beef up the squad, no one is going to compete with them. So now Peter Du Toit was saying maybe Chiefs and Pirates, they need to change the ownership structure. If you remember quite well, I spoke about this for some time ago, that maybe Motsepe is winning because of the ownership structure. I'm still waiting for Mamelodi Sundowns to disagree with me when I say they run that team with the NPO or NGO, Ubuntu Batu. So as a result, they benefit a lot of tax breaks with whatever money that they've spent. So that gives them an advantage. Now you may ask, why Chiefs and Pirates cannot do that? They can do it, it's their choice. They are running a PTY Ltd, which is a private company, and the tax is about 28%. And a Motsepe stand a chance of getting all the money back. Now, Peter Du Toit was saying, I don't know whether we agree with him or not. Isn't that it's a high time now that both Chiefs and Pirates, they allow the supporters to have a stake in their team, so they can have a say in the running of the team. So that was Peter Du Toit's view. And he was giving an example, which is a correct one. Ahly, as we speak, they are the team of the century in Africa, and they're the best team in Africa. They've won so many Champions League. The league is like, they are used to win the league. If they miss it this year, the next 2 seasons they'll take it. So that's Ahly. And I'm sure you saw the way they played with Inter Miami. They played a brilliant, brilliant football. So now he says Ahly is owned by the supporters. The same with Barcelona. Barcelona, there's a supporters who owns, there's business that owns, So it's not only one man like here, the same with Real Madrid. So they have enough at their disposal to compete, And then if you look at Al Ahly, Al Ahly compete with the European teams by ensuring that some of the players they don't go to Europe. They make sure that they remain in Egypt. So that's the question that he was asking. Should they not change the ownership structure? And he was also looking at the entire PSL. All the PSL teams, maybe they should follow that route. I don't know. But if you look at that very closely, it makes a bit of sense. Because look, we have so many people buying teams. The next thing, teams they go bankrupt. The team is not there. The status change and so on. Although it doesn't occur well because if you look it from another perspective, this is business that is owned largely by black people, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, and so on. But once you do that, that ownership changes. But I don't know what you want. If you really want to compete and then you want to give the fans value for money, maybe it's time for them to go that. Yes, I know that Kaizer Chiefs have acquired the shareholding of, I think it's Mr. Nkuna, who has put a lot of money there into Kaizer Chiefs. So that was his idea to say maybe they need to go Al Ahly way or allow people like Saudis who have a lot of money to buy a stake into Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. So what's your take? What's your take? Will the regime or the owners of the team allow that to happen? And does this carry any weight? Will this really help South African football? And guess what? Our sport has done extremely well. Our cricket boys, they've won the World Cup. And congratulations to Ama Wiki Wiki. Because that means if we've won the World Cup, Bafana are doing well in the AFCON. We know that Banyana, Mamelodi Sundowns now are in the Club World Cup. So that means sporting wise, we are doing very, very well. And thanks to a whole lot of people who have contributed, you name them, DSTV, with their sponsors, which is very good, Dr. Ivan Koza, Dr. Danny Jordan, they've contributed a lot. Everybody, the coaches on the lower level, and then they have made our sport really, really good. And what I did, I also phoned Dr. Ali Baha. In fact, I sent him a WhatsApp because I know the sacrifice that he went through to ensure that cricket becomes what it is today. He was going to the township, popularizing cricket. Some of us, we didn't know what's happening with cricket. We didn't understand anything. But his effort made us to understand, okay, this is how it goes. So all those efforts, all those people have contributed. Then I said to him, Dr. Baha, you have done a good job, a great job to contribute to what you have done. So maybe these are the results. Unfortunately, you couldn't win it during your time, but these are the results of the investment and the time, in terms of the time and the material resources that you put in. So I don't know. You can also think whether this is a good idea for the teams in South Africa to change the ownership structure to ensure that, yes, somebody owns, but over and above, you have the teams also owning. If you look at Barcelona, how do they, the ownership structure of Barcelona, something like that, ownership structure of Real Madrid. That's why it's very difficult to compete and they make sure that they get all the best players all over the world. So I don't know what's your take. So maybe you have a say. Do you agree with what Peter Detroit is saying? Do you agree with what I say? Because I've said, my approach was a little bit different. I was saying, why can't they go for public listing? Because it's easy. I mean, as we speak, Manchester United is listed in the New York Stock Exchange. They can also listing on the JSE. And by listing on the JSE, they'll raise a lot of money. And then they can be able to have a very good balance sheet. So I don't know. But the other flip of the coin, Man United is struggling, irrespective of all the monies, irrespective of getting all those serious business people, but they are struggling a lot. So I don't know, but at least it's better to struggle with money. Can you imagine if you struggle and there's no money, it becomes even worse. So I don't know. What's your take? Do you really think this will be the solution for our football by ensuring that Chiefs, Pirates, all the teams, they apply a strategy that is being used by teams like Al Ahly, Real Madrid, Barcelona, so that they ease the burden of one man carrying the cost, of running one team alone. So I don't know. That's a suggestion. That's something that we need to debate. And then if you think, because really, if really Mamelodi Sundowns is going to put almost $500 million to buy players, who's going to compete with them? They're not going to compete with them. So we'll see Mamelodi Sundowns dominating. They will win the league next year. The year after that, it's going to be really, really bad. But that's not guaranteed, as I've just given you the example of Man United. They've spent a lot of money, Man United, in acquiring players, but when it comes to the field of play, it was not showing. So those are some of the things that we are looking at. But before we go there, and then before I go to Club World Cup, we saw the opening game between Al Ahly and Inter Miami. What a brilliant game! What a brilliant game! I enjoyed the game. Yes, I'll show you the information, what's happening. At the end, I'll show you the clips of that game. Now, remember, we are a financial company, and then being a financial company, our job is to educate at all times, and then we are trying by all means to ensure that people get educated as far as um, finance is concerned. I just shown the book, but it has disappeared. I think it's my fault. Now, let me show you the first book that I wrote is called Secrets for Becoming Rich. And then this is the second edition. It also has what you call the first edition. So you can either get the first edition and the second edition. And then, I'm watching what's happening in the world. As you see, it's happening in terms of the world, they're fighting and so on. But at the back of everything, it's all about economy. Some people are saying, no, 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 no. They are fighting, and as they fight, the armament companies, those who are making arms, they are reaping a lot of money during this war. You may think that war is bad, but for those people, it's not bad. In fact, they like it to continue. The other one is this one, Entrepreneur Awakening with a Drive by Nomsa Masbugo. This lady is an entrepreneur from Emalahleni Wheatbank. She runs a string of guest houses. Collectively, she has more than 100 rooms. So it's a very nice place if you want to go and rest. And then here's another one. This one is called The Art of Money, How to Play the Wealth Game by Dr. Darlene Small. Dr. Darlene Small worked for the Reserve Bank for 33 years as an advisor to governors of the Reserve Bank. So just listen from somebody from the Reserve Bank and understand what's happening. And then the other book that I wrote is this one, How to Get Out of Bad Debts, Use Other People's Money and Resources to Get Rich. Because you don't use your money if you want to build wealth, you use other people's money to get rich. I heard Elon Musk saying, you know what, people think that because I'm worth 45 billion US dollars, 450 billion US dollars, they think I have that money in cash. And no, I don't even have $1 million US dollars in the bank. But all the monies that I collect, I make sure that I acquire debt. because that's how you make money. You make money by acquiring debt. But if you have bad debts, there is no way you can use debt to enrich you. So that is why you'll have to ensure that you get rid of the debts. So those are some of the things that we need to check if we are dealing with financial matters. It's very important that you need to understand, because you are not being told what's happening in terms of uh, the money, the transaction and so on. Then it becomes a bit of a difficult. And then what I've learned, it's not about the money. It's not about the money that you have. It's also about the issue of um, your temperament. How do you respond on issues? Your emotional intelligence. Do you handle setback very well? Okay. So if you don't handle setback very well, then you are bound to make mistakes. So that's the key strategy. If you are able to deal with setback, then you can survive. You'll be able to say, no, 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 I've lost here, but nevertheless, I'll come back. I always tell people about this Elon Musk story that 2011, he didn't have money. And guess what? 2021, he was the richest man in the world. And then he put it nicely to say, you know, I was surviving by borrowing money from people, to make sure that I survive. Then finally I survived. So it's all about how do you play the game? And then do you crumble when things are tough, or what do you do? All right. Now, we watch a very big game, Al Ahly versus Inter Miami. What a brilliant game. What a brilliant game. The only sad thing about America, man, they play the wee hours, you watch, then we sleep. So fortunately, some of us will record and watch a little bit later, just to watch the game, even if you know the score, but watch how did they play. Now, the game was really, really, really interesting, and then it ended up 0-0. And these are the numbers. The possession, Al Ahly had 45%, whereas Inter Miami had 55%. The shots on goal, 11 by Al Ahly, and then 14 by um, Inter Miami. On target, it was 6. Al Ahly, on target, it was 8. And then the passes completed. Inter Miami did 429, whereas Al Ahly did 351. In terms of the expected goal, it was 1.98. And then in terms of expected goal for Inter Miami, it was 0.87. It was a very exciting game. Al Ahly, they played very well. They were not looking like the team that played Sundowns, because when they played Sundowns, I was not convinced the way they played, but, they did extremely well. So, yeah, and then Messi, as usual, he did well. He did well. He had about 4 shots on target, and then hit the post, once, and then he had about, I think it's 3 dribbles, and then 76 touches, and then 2 long balls and 2 key passes, and one big chance created, and then Jewels was 8 point. Jewels was 8 jewels won, and I think in terms of the rating, it was 8 point something. Um, this guy rarely, go to 5. He's always 8, 9, or 10 sometimes, So yeah, this guy is really a genius. And then Ronaldo, Ronaldo Nazario, he's also my favorite Ronaldo. This one was very lethal, very lethal. Ronaldo complained. He said, Beckham, buy players, man. Messi's playing with amateurs here. And then because he's playing with amateurs, so unfortunately, uh, um, you guys are not doing favor to him. He said, buy players, make sure that Messi's playing with good players. Yeah, so that's remember Messi used to idolize Ronaldo, and then I do understand even Ronaldo. I think he really believes that Messi is the best. As far as this competition is concerned of football, if you ask him who's the best between Messi and Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo always says Messi is the best. And then let's look at the log standing of the teams. As you can see, Al Ahly is on top. I think it's due to alphabetical order. Inter Miami number 2 and Porto number 3. Palmeiras, the Brazilian outfit, at the bottom. And then all on equal points, 1-1, all of them. Okay. So we'll see what's going to happen. And then remember, tonight is Mamelodi Sundowns. And then yeah, we want to see how the Sundowns are going to. Um, and then, sorry about that. So, Mamelodi Sundowns, they are playing tomorrow, the 18th, which is tomorrow. And then with us here, I think it's 12 midnight tonight, leading to tomorrow. It's confusing when it's 12 midnight tomorrow, 12 midnight tonight, but I'll watch closely exactly what time. So we wish Gabrielo to do well, and then so that they continue to represent us. People must know that we play football in South Africa. So, and while we are still there, let me also, highlight something quickly. There is a whole lot of people who are a little bit worried about this Club World Cup. To say it, I don't know, it gives a lot of money, but some people are worried that it will kill the local competition. I don't know whether that will be true. And then I saw some people making an analysis that, remember, there was a Super Cup that was supposed to happen, and people were rioting, and so on, and it didn't take place. Now, the observation is now, because FIFA has always been trying this Club World Cup, and then at some point it has been failing and come back, revamp. Even this one, they were worried about the first game, whether the first game will attract enough people to the games. So they were not sure. Everybody was worried whether they'll do well. And then, guess what? They attracted about 60,000 fans in terms of the support. So that encouraged them. And then the game between, I think it was Bayern Munich, it attracted about 21,000 people, which at least they were somehow relieved that no, they attracted good numbers. Okay, so yeah, so there are some people arguing. So some people are insinuating that what happened? Why were they striking during that Super Cup? Now there was no strikes because FIFA was involved. I don't know. So those are some of the theories. We don't know. We'll watch the space very closely and see what's happening. But nevertheless, I just want to check with you to say, I don't know whether you are aware that the leading goal scorer for Club World Cup is Cristiano Ronaldo with 7 goals, and then followed by Karim Benzema with 6, and Gareth Bale with 6, and Cesar Delgado with 5, Lionel Messi with 5, Luis Suarez with 5. And now the gap between Messi and Ronaldo is only 2 goals, and then the same with Suarez. And these are still active. There are still games coming. So the chances are either Suarez or Messi, they'll break the record. They may end up being on top. Remember, they're still going to play about 2 games. And if they happen to go to the next stage, and then that will give them an advantage. So yeah, those are some of the things that are happening as far as Inter Miami is concerned. And then yeah, we'll watch the games and see what's gonna happen. Whether who's gonna win this one. My money's on Sundowns as a local team, although it's a little bit difficult. Maybe it's a wish. Inter Miami, yes, they don't have quality squad, but the presence of Messi is always an advantage. Now, this is one of the books that I wrote. Is called "How I Turned 500 Rand into a Million Rand Business," and you can do the same. Anyone can do it if you want to do it. Just check how did I do it, and I'm definitely certain that you can also do the same. So yeah, the other thing that I want to make people aware of, we are, as I said, we're a financial company. Those who wants to learn how to to be mentored and so on, because I was mentored too. You can join our membership club. You'll see at the end of the show, you'll see there will be what you call the WhatsApp number. Then you can drop us a WhatsApp, and once you drop us a WhatsApp, thereafter you can give us a call. So that's it. The question for today: should Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates or the PSL as a whole change the ownership structure? Allow the fans to have a stake. And the fans should not just talk for the sake of talking. They must put their money where their mouth is. If you see, like, sometimes Chief fans, they fight that the coach is not giving them what they expect, but maybe they also have to put money and then pay so that at least when they do that, they know that they've put money. Do you understand? Because Chiefs may try, but you know what? Like I said, Mamelodi Sundowns seems will dominate football for a very long time. I mean, if they invest almost a billion or half a billion to buy players, you know what? That means all quality players will go to Mamelodi Sundowns. And I wonder whether our teams will compete. We see Al Ahly is the best team in Africa, is the team of the century. They also run with that model of ownership plus the supporters having a stake. The supporters, as they decide and then complain, making their own inputs, they know that they've put their money. Should we also do that with Chiefs and Pirates? Because guess what? We need Chiefs and Pirates in these big tournaments because our teams that we know that they bring pride, those teams have carried the PSL, NSL, and NPSL before the PSL. So we need them to be strong. And then, does this make sense? What Peter Ditoit spoke about. But remember, I also spoke about this thing from time to time and say maybe they need to change the ownership structure. I don't know. You can also have an opinion. And then thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate. And then please continue to subscribe and comment, and then and invite others so that they subscribe. Yeah. So I'm sure some of you will say, I don't know. I like Chiefs, I like Paris, then I like the Mutaung family or Dr. Ivan Koga. I don't think this argument or this debate is about them. They've done extremely well. I mean, to build such a big brand like Dr. Kaizer, all of us are looking up to him. We are emulating what he does. But you know what? The world is changing. Things are changing. As you see what is happening with the wars in Ukraine, now there's Iran and Israel. We see revolution, change. Change is happening in the world. And then we had the United States. We are hearing that Donald Trump is going to sign the order. So we don't know. Don't know. Change is happening. So maybe even our football We need to look at that. So I don't know. Thank you so much for watching, and much appreciated. And then, yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm sure you are already in the year 2025, and then you are asking yourself, what are you going to do? Some of you have been working for many years, and then now you are contemplating of either resigning or going on retirement. And it looks scary. You're not sure what are you going to do, how are you going to survive, you're worried about your pension, and so on and so on. Especially if you're a GPF member at the age of 55 and above, and you are in those situations. You are thinking, what's going to happen? Remember, the most important thing, you need to think about how can you save the little that you have, in terms of how do you avoid penalties. Because when you retire earlier than 60, you'll be penalized. How can you avoid that? Not to be penalized, not even a cent. You also want to make sure that you maximize in terms of the taxation. But get me right, tax applies to everyone. But you want to make sure that you are tax as little as you can. And you want to do all those things. You need somebody who's skilled, somebody who's trained to deal with finance, because tax avoidance is allowed. Because when you avoid tax, you use the tax law. Now, if you want to do that, to make sure that you save as much as you can, don't hesitate. Contact us, TBR Solution, or the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. And then just say, please, I want you to assist me. I want to go out. So come and share knowledge with me. Now, no obligation. You don't have to make any obligation. Just listen to the facts. After listening to the facts, make a decision. Can listen to us, can listen to others, then so that you're exposed to various information, so that when you make a decision, it's an informed decision. Now, my name is the Saubrey Boyz Walefatshe from TBR Solution. Here, I'm representing the Big R Financial Services, an authorized financial service provider. If you want to know how to get hold of us, just look at the WhatsApp number, drop us your contact via WhatsApp. We'll therefore come back to you. I thank you.